Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 102. Oh my god, what a week I have had. Let me just start with a little bit of a life update before we get into this week's topic, and I think you're going to love this week's topic. I think you'll find it really useful. When I tell you that I have had an energetic upgrade, I am not joking. So first off, thank you so much for your messages of support after listening to last week's episodes, where I was letting off a bit of steam, shall we say. I had absolutely amazing downloads. And I'm really, really grateful that you know me well enough to allow me the grace to just be in an imperfect human, emotional, reactive moment. Really grateful for that. You know that I like to keep it real and I share what's going on in my life in that moment, and I certainly did that last week. I have got a bit of a croaky voice because, as always, when I have a little bit of an upgrade, this has been a big upgrade actually, I usually come down with a slight bug. It's just the side effects of levelling up, in my opinion. Anyway, so thank you. That was a massive release of what was no longer serving me, and I am truly, truly grateful that you sent me such beautiful messages and stuck by my side through it. So this week has been a roller coaster of emotions for me. I'm not sure if Mercury is in the microwave again, but I have cried at every occasion and for every possible emotion, and I feel fucking amazing right now. So if you follow me on Instagram, which is at EmpowerState, you have probably seen me sobbing on at least 3 occasions this week. The latest one was when I had just done a call with one of my amazing one-to-one clients, and she was just so open and vulnerable, and she had this moment of clarity on her vision and the why behind it, and it was just beautiful, and I ended up crying with her on this call. And when I came off it, it just hit me like a ton of bricks that I am now in alignment with my soul's purpose and what was once my vision, to be able to serve people in helping them unlock their own power and make them massive shifts in their life, and be able to do that from home on my terms or wherever I want in the world, and to be abundant in return for serving and to create this massive impact and be creative and make content and have total freedom to spend my days how I want and just generally build a life that I once dreamed of. And to know that it's only going to get better and better from here just overwhelms me with gratitude. The best way that I could describe how I felt this week is the same way that I felt when I was in the absolute thick of a spiritual awakening in summer 2022, where I just felt everything so deeply, and the smallest things felt like absolute magic to me. So overall, it has been an incredible week for me, and I truly hope that it has been for you too. I know quite a few of my listeners have been talking to me on Instagram and saying that they have felt very much the same, like very emotional, very much like they're upgrading and that something's shifting within them. And I have been feeling a shift coming for a while now. I've had several messages and comments from you guys saying that you can hear the shift in the way that I deliver my content recently, and that I have a lot more authority and conviction, and I feel that too. And since that release last week and this energetic upgrade that has followed, I have just shifted into a whole new state of being, and I can feel it. The downloads that I am getting from Source, particularly last night, that were just channeling through me, were coming in so fast that I had to record them as like scrambled voice notes because I just simply could not write them down fast enough. It was wild. Everything that came through was like amazing nuggets of golden that I was so excited to share with you. So I've listened back to what I recorded in those voice notes and kind of put them together in some sort of order so that I can make them into future podcast content for you. So stay tuned for that. I actually had every intention this week of being very active on my social media, on Insta and in the Facebook group, but I've actually barely posted anything at all on my social media. So I do apologise for being missing in action, but I do have a very good reason for that. And that is because, like I said, I feel I've been super connected to Source, getting all of the good stuff to share with you. And I have spent 4 solid days now creating the content for the membership, which is opening this month, and I cannot bloody wait to show it you. We've already got several people who have confirmed that they're joining us, which is absolutely amazing because I have barely told you about it. So let me just share a little bit of what it's going to look like very briefly. Next week, I will try and tell you a little bit more, but if you would like all the details as soon as they come out, go to my website, sophiewaddington.com, scroll to the contact section at the bottom and send me a message with the word membership, and I will add you to the email list so that you're notified as soon as I send out the information. So this membership has been coming for a long while now, and some of you will know that I had another membership in the past called the Vibe Tribe, which is now closed. I made the decision to close it because it just felt out of alignment with the identity that I hold now and the new knowledge that I have. And I wanted to create something which was going to be far more impactful. A quick side note there, though, if you are an ex-member of the Vibe Tribe and you are thinking of joining us in the Empower State membership, then send me a DM first because I've got a little gift for you for supporting me in that early venture. So, as you know, a couple of months ago, I rebranded the podcast from Positive Pig to Empower State, and I talked about why I did that in the pod, but the name Empower State was actually going to just be the name of this membership. And then when I was told by Source to rebrand everything, so we now have Empower State, the podcast, and later this month, we're going to have Empower State, the membership. So the membership is going to be a portal of self-study lessons that are going to be in video format, and they'll be broken down into different modules, which are going to teach you the exact process of manifestation using the law of assumption, which is what I teach with my own spin on how I use those principles. I know a lot of people who are into manifestation use the law of attraction, which is also amazing, but what I teach is the law of assumption, and the content that I give to you is all from the law of assumption. It's not from the law of attraction. They're slightly different. So these are the steps that have allowed me to achieve my biggest goal that you'll know that I was talking about way back in the early days of having the pod, which was to have a career as a speaker on manifestation. And that is my life now. And I had no idea how that was going to happen back then. I still didn't really until about 6 months ago, when I really started to apply these steps that I knew about to my life. Now, these work for any area. This membership will teach you to consciously create your own personal desires and your own vision. And of course, I share all these things on the pod all the time that I know are going to help you. I'm going to be sharing one today in a little bit more detail, but on the podcast, I can really only touch the surface of each of these concepts, whereas in the membership, we're going in deep, guys. The content in there is there to be studied in depth. There are lots of different tasks that I'm going to assign you to go away with and apply what you've learned in that lesson. There's going to be resources to help you do that. There's going to be a bonus content library with all sorts of amazing things in there, like guided meditations and subliminal tracks and journal prompts and EFT tapping guides and more that I'll continue to build on each month. And then, of course, there will be live sessions for you to attend where I will host a Q&A session where you can ask specific questions about how to overcome a block that you've found or how to deepen your understanding on the content of the lessons. I can give you personalised advice on how to embody what you're learning. It'll be kind of on-the-spot coaching in a group setting. And the part that I am probably most excited about is that in addition to the live Q&A coaching calls, I'm also going to be hosting a live event each month where I will bring you new content, which will be in the form of a masterclass, or sometimes it'll be in the form of like a 3-day live challenge where you come back each day and we do something different with this incredible community of like-minded people. And each of those masterclasses and challenges is going to then be added to this content library. So there's going to be an absolute ton of valuable content that I have poured my heart into, and you can probably tell from how excited I sound that it really is from my heart and guided by my connection to source and my extensive knowledge and experience on the subject of exactly how to manifest as an imperfect, real human being that I am. I have been consumed by the concept of manifestation since I was 17, and now I'm 35, so that's 18 years of what I have learned that has been poured into this membership, and I just cannot wait to bring it to life and to share it with you all and to see the impact that it has on you, the people that have supported me in creating this life that I am living right now. So like I said before, I will be sharing all the details of it properly very soon, so just go and get on the email list through the website. But just so you know, because a few people have asked me about this part, there will be an option to join us monthly or annually, but the annual option will include a monthly one-to-one session. So the spaces for that one will be limited, but having me check in with your consciousness and coach you through whatever's coming up at the time, keep you accountable and push you forward will be a massive help in whatever it is that you are intending to create. And I'm telling you that because I know that I need the same thing doing for me. And that's why I view having my mentor as an absolute non-negotiable investment for my growth. Like, that is way up there with paying my mortgage. So very exciting times. Head over to the website, sophiewanton.com, and fill out the contact form with the word membership. And if you've got any questions that you want me to answer about it as well, put them in the message part and I shall get back to you. So, we're 11 minutes in. That was quite a big life update. So let's get started with what we're actually talking about, shall we? I love this subject. I'm very excited about it right now, and I'm actually just in the middle of writing the notes up for a lesson on this in the membership. So I decided to break off and do a podcast on it, partly so that you can kind of see the content of the types of things that we're going to be talking about, but also because I thought it's quite relevant after I quite clearly forgot about this concept for a moment last week and reacted to my 3D in regards to a person's undesired behaviours last week. Not that I regret it at all, I might add, because that has allowed me to have the release that I didn't know that I needed and to level up. So I'm going to talk this week about not reacting to circumstances, but specifically in relation to people. Now, I heard someone say recently, just in passing as part of something else that they were telling me, well, people have free will, so it's not it's not my choice, it's their choice. And it stuck out to me because that's actually completely incorrect. Completely incorrect. It's a massive misconception that we all have, and that really can make us suffer in lots of ways. Other people do not have any free will in your reality. They don't. And that is a difficult concept to accept, I know. But when you understand what I am about to say, it will make more sense to you, I hope. So this will probably be a fairly long episode, and you might want to come back and listen to it again because I'm going to go a little bit deeper than I normally do. So let's start with the most important sentence that you will ever learn on manifestation on the law of assumption, and that is this: consciousness is the one and only reality. I'm going to say it again. Consciousness is the one and only reality. Now, I do a whole lesson on consciousness that would take me far too long to explain in this podcast, but in a nutshell, what that means is that you are the only operant power, and whatever you decide to be true for you and what you experience in your reality is exactly what you will see reflected back to you like a mirror in the form of your 3D circumstances or your life. So some of those circumstances will be amazing and you'll be able to see where these are in your life. And that's because you hold beliefs in your consciousness that create these amazing circumstances. whereas others will be undesirable. And that is because of exactly the same reason. It's because you hold beliefs in your consciousness that create those undesired circumstances. And you might not like me telling you that, because you might be thinking, Soph, are you telling me that I have created a circumstance where my boss constantly undermines me and I don't have enough money to pay my bills and I'm always run down and exhausted and no one ever chooses me? Yes, I am here to tell you, yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. You have created it all, even if it involves other people. And you've done that through the beliefs that you hold in your consciousness, which are creating thoughts that align with those beliefs, and those thoughts are then creating your 3D experience. So whether you like the results or not, and you will like some of the results, I'm sure, that you're having right now, and you won't like others, it's you who has created them. So I'm sorry to be the bad guy, but now that you know that, hopefully you will start to feel more empowered, because you can start to now develop new beliefs and have new thoughts, which will then in turn allow you to experience a new reality in that area of your life. And if you want to know exactly how to do that from start to finish, come and join us when the doors open, because that's what I'm going to teach you how to do. But for today, I'm just going to go into detail on one little part of that. So when you hear that, in my experience, the biggest resistance that comes up is, well, this circumstance that I don't like is because of how that person behaved and I can't control them because they've got free will. Wrong. Yes, you can. And let me tell you why you can. Because everything in your reality, including the people that are a part of that reality, are a reflection of your consciousness, and how they behave towards you is completely within your control, because they have got no choice but to reflect what you believe to be true back to you. So even if you don't like it, there's nothing they can do about it. You're in full control. So for example, you believe that your ex is a dickhead, he behaves like a dickhead. You believe your boss doesn't value you, they prove that they don't value you. You believe that your friend might be mad at you, so she behaves in a way that suggests that she might be mad at you. You believe that you don't visit your family members enough and you feel guilty about it. Well, they're going to tell you that you don't visit them enough and they're going to give you a guilt trip. You believe that your kid's dad doesn't care about your kids. He'll ignore his kids. You believe that potential clients don't want to work with you and that they're going to reject you. The potential clients will ghost you. They'll tell you that they're not interested. They'll reject you. Can you see that this is not what we have believed in the past? We have believed that people are choosing, that they have free will, that they are in control of what's going on in your reality. What's happening is them being forced to reflect back to you what you believe they are thinking and how you believe they are behaving through their words and through their actions. It's you, babe. It's not them, it's you. So get that in your head, and that is going to change everything for you. Now, the biggest area of life where we'll feel the negative impact of not understanding that and having a poor self-concept in that area is going to be, I think, in our romantic relationships, or maybe in the lead up to the start of a romantic relationship. So I'm going to focus more on that for a second. But this still, this relates whether you're single or whether you are already in a relationship. I have got so much evidence for this that I didn't recognise as evidence at the time, and so will you, and hopefully you'll see that in a minute. Now, I am naming no names. Let that be known. Good God. Let's not have any more of that drama ever again. I am speaking in general about a plethora of men, two in particular, that I have experienced in my 35 years, who have no significance to what I'm saying. They are just two random people. But I have been in a relationship in the past where I have given all of my power to another person, in the way that in order for me to feel safe and in order for me to feel loved and to feel accepted and to feel validated, I decided in my consciousness, with my beliefs, that I needed proof from that person in the 3D in the form of them behaving in a way that showed that they loved me and that made me feel emotionally safe and validated. But in my desperation for that was coming from a place of lack, from not giving it to myself, from not giving that validation and that love to myself, and accepting that that was true for me, I often experienced the opposite of what I desired. I would chase after this person and desperately try to please him at the detriment of myself so that I could feel worthy enough to have him. And he had no choice but to reflect my lack of self-worth at that time by withdrawing all those things from me. It was not him. It was me. He behaved like that, but it was me who was forcing him to behave in that way through my consciousness, because I get to choose. And so that relationship went tits up, understandably. So I learned from that I needed to do the opposite then. And I got into another relationship where I felt like I needed to have the power. That was what was important to me. So I would behave much more dominantly, out of character, in an attempt to regain that balance that I wanted. I just wanted an equal balance coming back and forth between two people. But because I went the opposite way, it was still very much out of balance. And then I felt frustrated that that person never voiced their opinion, and I felt like they weren't my equal, and I felt like they were a bit weak. I held the belief that they were overly submissive to the point where it could sometimes give me the ick. And that was reflected back to me. And I don't mean that in the way that I walked him around the house gagged on a lead, unlike wearing high heels and making him wear a PVC gimp suit. I mean, energetically, he was submissive because that's what I decided. And it wasn't what I wanted. And that went tits up too, because I just didn't know how to fix it. And when I did try and fix it, I was trying to manipulate the 3D. And I wasn't really aware at that point, well, I wasn't aware at all, that it was me creating my experience of that person in my reality. I had some awareness that I was creating my other experiences, but I didn't realise that that also applied to people in my reality. You've got to take other people off the pedestal, whatever your relationship is to them. They have to come off and you have to go on, because they are you. They're a part of you. So you are the only person who belongs on that pedestal. Stop outsourcing your sense of worth, your sense of happiness and your validation and getting that from others. Start focusing on giving that to yourself so that they can reflect that back to you by nurturing the belief that everybody loves you. They want you to be happy. They do whatever it takes to make you happy because that's what makes them happy. You're always chosen. There's no one better than you. You're everybody's favourite person. Build yourself a self-concept that no undesired circumstance can fuck with, because you understand that you have complete power over your experience and the people in it. No one has free will in your reality. They are only playing the role that you are assigning them in the movie of your life. So if you are experiencing somebody behaving in a way that you don't like, it's on you to change that script. So let's say, for example, you meet somebody that you're interested in romantically, for example. So you've met up, you've had that connection, you've had that click with them, you've been talking for a little while, maybe you've been texting, and then one morning you wake up and he's not text you. I'm just using him as an example. You can change this to fit any scenario. So you've got a choice then. When you see what's happened in the 3D, you see that that person hasn't texted you when you were sort of expecting that they would. You've got a choice to give that meaning, and you can give it no meaning, which means that you're becoming completely neutral to it. That's what I would recommend. But if you have to give it a meaning, you could give it a positive meaning. What we do is we give it a negative meaning, and then we feel shit about ourselves. So when you catch yourself doing things that are manipulating the 3D, like checking to see if he's text you in order for you to be happy and enjoy your day, or typing a message so that the notification will come up but not actually sending one, or posting something on your stories to try and get his attention, and I'm using he again just as an example, but you adjust it to fit whatever comes to mind when you're hearing me. And I know that you've done that, and I know because I have done that too on many occasions. It's manipulating the 3D. We have all done it in some way or other. We all fall into the trap of thinking that there is something outside of us that is controlling how we experience people in our 3D reality, and it is just simply not fucking true. So just know that when you're feeling shit that this person hasn't messaged you back, and you're then assigning meaning to it, that he doesn't like you, or that he's with somebody else, or that he's ghosted you, or that he's choosing somebody over you, know that that's true in that moment, but it's only true because that's what you are deciding for it to mean. You are deciding that that is what that action means. Stop giving it negative meaning. Stop assuming that what you don't desire is true. It's only true because you are deciding that it's true. Does that make sense? If he hasn't texted you back, assume that he must have fallen down a manhole as he was on the way to your house with a bouquet of roses to confess his undying love for you. Assume that. Give it meaning that supports what you wish to be true. Of course he's fallen down a fucking manhole. Why the fuck would it be anything else? Why wouldn't he be absolutely obsessed with you? You are creating it. It's you, babe. It's nobody else. So if you find yourself sat there saying, I wonder what he's thinking right now, I can tell you. I can tell you with absolute certainty. So let me just relieve that uncertainty right now for you. He is thinking exactly what you believe he is thinking, because that is all he can do in your reality. He has got no choice in the matter but to reflect the beliefs that you hold in your consciousness of yours back to you. You are the only operant power. Your consciousness is the one and only reality in your life. You are the writer, you are the director, you are the set designer, you are the costume creator, you're the producer, you're the main character of your life. Every single thing that you see around you is the set, and everyone in it is that you experience in that movie are actors which you have casted to play a particular role. So people think, well, what if he decides to do this? Let me stop you right there. He can't decide that. He cannot decide that unless you decide to write that into the script and you assign him that role and you assign him that ability to choose. He can only regurgitate what you decide, absolutely nothing else. And you have to remember at all times from now on, when you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you need to impress someone, where you go into a meeting with a customer, or you're going into a meeting with your boss, or you've got a job interview for your dream job, or you're going on a first date, or you're attending some kind of event where you're going to be meeting new people, it is not your job to be auditioning for a part. The movie of your life is yours completely. You are the main character. Everyone else that comes into your life is doing nothing but auditioning for a part to play in your movie. It's yours. You are the star. Do you think that Steven Spielberg has to chase and beg people to be in his films? Does he fuck? The best actors in the world will flock to him to have the honour of starring in the film that he's directing or that he's written. You are Steven Spielberg from now on, babe. Stop acting like one of the actors hoping that you get a part in your own fucking show. It's yours. If, like me, you have not understood this fully in the past, then the chances are that you have developed a belief system that says, I have to impress other people to get them into behaving in a way that makes me feel like I'm worthy of having them there, or that I'm worthy of having a certain experience. And that just applies to every area of your life. It's not just in romantic relationships. every single area of your life where you interact with other humans. You have probably then developed an unhealthy attachment style to other people in the way that you either feel very attached and needy and let their actions decide your worth, or you've gone the other way where you completely avoid getting close to someone because you're trying to protect yourself from being rejected because you believe that that's what you'll inevitably experience. Again, linked to your worth and your lack of understanding of your power. And if that's you, and I include myself, or at least a past version of myself in this, who's got anxiously attached to people in all areas of life and has put my worth in their behaviour towards me, in partners, in friends, in bosses, in every area, not realising that I was forcing them to behave that way, then you will need to keep this episode at the very forefront of your mind. And you'll need to remind yourself over and over and over again until you have developed such a firm belief that you are in full control, and that no one has free will in your life, that when you see something undesired in your circumstance, all you think is, interesting. I wonder how I've created that. Let me go into my consciousness and decide which belief is it that I'm holding, which is making this person behave in this way, because it's you. It's absolutely you. No one has free will in your life. So what I'm telling you here is that if there is a person or several people in your life that are behaving in a way that is undesired, that is a direct reflection of the belief system that you have around that relationship, around that part of your life, and it's coming from your consciousness, nowhere else. Change it. Don't try and change the 3D. Don't waste your fucking time. Go in and change the belief so that you can have new thoughts. Don't wipe the mirror to get the chocolate off your gob. Wipe your gob to see the change in the reflection of the mirror. Bring that power back to you. So finally, as I've been talking for a while now, my voice is absolutely running out, I just want to put your mind at ease with the idea that no one has free will, because I know that that can make people feel uncomfortable, because it made me feel uncomfortable at first. So let me explain that. And this is the bit that's a little bit confusing. Every person that you encounter in your life, in your 3D reality, only exists as you perceive them. We all get to choose what we experience. So if me and you were stood facing each other and I was holding up like a playing card that was green on one side and red on the other side, then you might say, my reality is that that card is green, and that would be true for you. But I would say my reality is that this card is red, and that's true for me. We are both coexisting, but we are both experiencing a different version of reality because it's coming from our consciousness. So every person that you encounter in your 3D life is only existing as you perceive them. Remember that. And I, for example, I'm only here speaking to you on this podcast right now because something in your consciousness has created this experience that you're having right now with me. It's not me, it's you. You've created this experience. I've created the experience of you listening to me. You've created the experience of you listening to me. Okay? So I'm not saying that the person in question in your life doesn't have free will in their own reality. They absolutely do, because we all have complete control of our own reality. What I'm saying is that what that person experiences in their own personal reality from their consciousness has got absolutely fuck all to do with you or your reality. It will never interfere with your reality unless that is what you write into your movie. In his consciousness, again, I'm using he as an example, change it to fix whatever suits. He might be married to another woman and living happily with her and their 3 delightful children in Australia. That is absolutely fine. You will never know anything about that, and you certainly won't have the ability to interfere with that in any way by accepting that he doesn't have free will. It's completely safe to believe that. In your reality, that person could be happily married to you, and you could both live together in England, if that's what you choose. And I know that that is a really difficult and complex concept, but think of it like this. There are unlimited possibilities for your own reality. So if I ask you now to imagine any number of different realities right now, you could. You could picture yourself sitting at a beach bar in Jamaica while a man who looks like he's been carved from stone brings you a strawberry daiquiri. And you sat there relaxing. You can experience that right now. You might need a little bit of practice of using your imagination, but you have the capacity to experience that as if it were true. And the reason that you can experience it to be true is because it is. All possibilities are already existing. It's just a different version of reality. It's one that you've not chosen to experience as your main reality right now. It's happening at the same time. It's just happening on a different frequency. And that's what I mean when we talk about coming into a vibrational match with your desire. You just have to match that frequency. So just like in an old-fashioned radio, you can tune that radio to different stations by turning the dial. When you pick one and you hear that music, that doesn't mean that there isn't different music playing on the other channels. You've just picked that particular one and chosen to stick with that version. The other channels are still playing other songs. The conversations are still going on the other radio channels. You are just not choosing to experience them. They are still real. So we get to choose at all times what we experience, and that does not interfere with someone else's experience. Just like by listening to one station on the radio does not stop other people from listening to another one that is happening at the same time. It's just what you have chosen. Does that make sense? None of them are interfering with the others. Just you choosing your experience at any one time. And when you persist in a desired version, that is exactly what you will see. Just like when you're turning the dial on the radio and you stop the dial and keep it on that one, that is what you will hear, whatever's playing on that frequency. So when people say things like, oh, well, if you manifest someone to behave in a certain way, you're manipulating them because they've got free will and you're interfering with that. That's absolute utter bullshit. Manipulating someone is what people do instead, and they're okay with that. It's typing the text message so that they get the notification but they don't send it. It's posting on your story to try and get them to send you a like. It's ignoring the text to get their attention or to piss them off. It's playing with them in the 3D experience. That is manipulative, not changing the script of your consciousness. That has got no effect on their particular experience of reality because you don't have that power. They have that power. So remember that you are creating it all. Absolutely everything in your experience is your creation. So if you are having an undesirable experience in any way, check in with the beliefs that are in your consciousness and find out, what is it that I believe to be true right now that is forcing this to happen, that is forcing this person to behave in this particular way. Remember that you are Steven Spielberg. Snatch the fucking script off them, rewrite them a new one and give them a new instruction of how they're going to behave so that they can play a role in your movie of your life that you enjoy, that fits what you desire. So, 38 minutes. So that's what I've got for you for this week. It was a bloody long one, but I hope that you found it useful. If you have found it useful, I would greatly appreciate you if you were to leave me an Apple review. I usually get no more than one a week, and that's on a good week. So if you've got a second, honestly, it would really make a massive difference to me if you would leave me a review. A massive difference. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the membership and visit the website, which is sophiewaddington.com, you can go and fill the consent form. I keep saying content form, the contact form at the bottom with the subject membership. And if you've got any questions that you want to ask me, put them in the message and I will add you to the email list. But that I've spoken about today is an example of just one of the many, many lessons that will be within the membership. So I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you all next week. Have a fabulous week and go and rewrite that script to suit you. See you later.